Hey there, this is Katherine sharing a diamond press set with you. This is the Hidden Message Autoship program called, this one particularly is called Love, and it's all about Valentine's Day. They've got full color instructions in this. You get some foam dots for it. You get a couple of stamp sets to put these cards together, including some hearts and some sentiments, flowers, just lots of fun. And then, of course, a big, large Happy Valentine's Day stamp. You get the folder if you have your diamond press marquee machine, and then you get a bunch of dies as well. Hearts, an XO. You get the pieces to make this pull tab. So this is part of an auto ship. I've got some other videos on this product. Be sure and check the description below because you do need the original card base to create this card. And then you're also going to use the pull tab from a previous release, the Welcome Home set. So I'm going to start out by cutting this out. I didn't run it through my machine quite right. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just going to trim those ends off. It almost got it. I think my paper was a little too large. So, and then you also need to trim, cut out these tabs. So I needed one tab with the little pull kind of flaps on there, and then this other one that's a partial, just the top of the flap. You put that together to reinforce it to make it thicker. So you want to use a decent cardstock, but if you don't have a super thick one, using these two together just makes it easier for the recipient to pull. And it's got these flaps on, these tabs on it, and then the flap that you're going to put together here. I'm going to add this tab guide, pull tab guide. You don't want to glue down the little slit part because that is where your tab is going, the pull tab is going to go through. So I'm going to feed this through, and I should have put this under before I pulled the tabs all the way through. So I'm just going to back that out, and then I will lay this through the tab guide here. So let me slide that in there, and now I haven't made one of these in a bit, so I have to refresh my memory. Thankfully, there are instructions to remind me, but these are really simple. I think out of all the interactives, this one's pretty easy. I think the wheel one, the interactive wheel one, is very, very easy, but this one's pretty easy too, especially once you make it one time. You kind of get the hang of it. All right, so I have stamped and die cut some things. You can see over there on the left-hand side, took an opportunity to go ahead and create some stuff so I can get making. I am going to glue this directly onto the card, and you'll see the directions say that the flap should be above the circle. So I'm just kind of taking a second here before I add all of my glue. I don't want to glue down that tab at the bottom, so I'm making sure that I'm not getting glue down there, so that my tab will move freely and be able to pull that heart up and down. I literally could just sit there and pull that tab all day. It just makes me so happy. I love these interactive products that Diamond Press has put out over the last year. And I think this one's my favorite one, the pull tab. I made one with some doors a few months ago that I'll link in the description that I think were my favorite cards I made all of last year. Just because of that door. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. So anyway, I encourage you, if you got this product, to pull it out and play with it. So I'm just getting my heart where it needs to be. I kind of had to finagle it just a little bit to make sure that it is in proper placement. And once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to glue my second heart on there. I had made a second one that I stamped and die cut that mirrors the front one, but I decided that would be a little bit too busy. So I'm going to just put a solid white heart on there to back that and cover that flip pull tab. Okay, so I've got this on here, and I'm using liquid glue. You could use dry adhesive, but the liquid glue I like better for most of these kind of projects. I just find that they set up really well. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my pull sentiment there on the bottom. I'm using some My Favorite Things red ink there, and then I'm going to work on adding my foam squares to the back, and then I will take those off and pop this up. That just lets your the mechanism move. And so I'm just using some foam squares here. They've got pictures on there of kind of where to place it, which is very helpful, especially if you don't make these, frequently. It just shows you basically you're not blocking where the mechanism is moving. So I'm just going to get this backing paper off, and then I'll be ready to assemble my card. Something else I would have done earlier too, when I stamped that pull sentiment, I should have gone on and stamped my sentiment inside the card. I forgot to do that. So it just makes it easier. You can do it, but I used my stamp positioner in it to make sure that I didn't make any big mistakes on it after already assembling this beautiful card together. I'm using some Papertreyink patterned paper from their collection. This is the Pure Poppy. I love this paper. It's got a linen feel to it, and there are a lot of great basic, circles and stripes, great patterns that you could use for cards like this. Okay, and so I am going to add my sentiment here that I referenced that I should have stamped earlier before I put the card together. So I definitely took it to my stamp positioner in case there was some kind of issue, and I don't want to get ink all over it as well. So I'm just taking care here. It's the first time I've used this one, so I'm going to stamp it off on a piece of scratch paper so I can get a good impression, and then I will come back with that same red that I used for my favorite things, making sure that I've got a pretty good impression there. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, all right, now I can put the finishing touches on it. I love that big old heart on the front. And then I'm using some more of this red cardstock this is from Papertreyink as well, Pure Poppy. It's kind of my favorite red that I have in my collection, and I use it a lot. So I'm cutting the XO in this pennant, which is so cute. I thought that was kind of fun. It's got the little XO on there as well. I'm going to cut, I've already cut that little Cupid on there. I cut that from my favorite gold cardstock that I have. That is Park Lane from Joann's. I get that in my local store. It's 6x6 paper, and it's nice and thick. It cuts like a dream, and I can't recommend it enough. That's one of my favorite papers in my craft room. So I use that quite a bit. I always make sure to have that on hand. I went ahead and cut an extra XO, and now I'm going to pull out some of these detail dots. I picked this up recently from Maker Forte, and they have all these little dots on here, and I'm just going to place them on here for my finer die cuts. I wouldn't want to try and put a teeny tiny bit of liquid glue on that little pennant, but I do want some adhesive on there. So I'm just adding this on there, then you kind of rub it, and then I will peel these off and add them back to my card. So a great way for a dry adhesive on these fine little delicate things that you may not want to add liquid glue to, and you certainly would have a hard time adding a sticky, dry adhesive to. So I was excited to see these recently that they've released in their shop, and I'll be sure and link that below too if you're interested. And then I'll come back and add my little Cupid up there with this little bow and arrow. So cute. And you can see it's really sticky. You can see that adhesive really sticking to it. So I'm pleased with this product. I'm going to slide him underneath a little bit of that heart. And that is it. I love that is just all about Valentine's Day. Okay, I took the XO on this next card, cut a bunch of them because I absolutely love this die. And then I layered it onto cardstock. I just kind of did a random pattern using the pink, the red, and the black. Got a pattern together that I liked. You could do this in any color. So you could this doesn't have to be Valentine's themed. You could do it in blues. You could do it in greens. You could do whatever you wanted to. That's what I love about card making is you can customize it at any turn. And so you could just change it up if you needed to send a message of love to a friend. It doesn't have to be Valentine's themed. So I encourage you to think outside the box when you're making stuff like this. All right, I'm going to just use a small heart that is in that set. I have added the love word die that was included, again using those detail dots, glue that make quick work of it. I've got some really pretty cardstock here. I'm using pink, red, and black, more of that Pure Poppy. from Papertreyink that I love, and then I'll mount all of this onto black cardstock. I've got a very thin border here, but I just wanted to pull out a little bit of each of those colors. And then I will add my love heart on there to finish it off. I'm not going to add anything else besides that. I wanted really that XO to shine. I think that is so neat. If I'd had a thin little sentiment, I probably would have added that instead of the heart. But I wanted to use, the one they had was a little bit too large, so I don't have a skinny Happy Valentine's Day. But the love, I think, ties it in nicely instead. So I'm just but I don't want to cover all of that XO background up. Okay, so let me get this liner paper off of my foam. And I added a little bit of ink around that edge to kind of set off that heart just a little bit. Okay, so here are the 2 cards I made. That fun Valentine's Day that hopefully your recipient would enjoy. Just pulling that tab. I made one without the tab feature, just using some of the dies included in the set, so no stamping on that one. And then this last card is very special, is for my daughter's 16th birthday, which is right around the corner. So you can see I've got a totally different card. I changed the colors, changed the paper. I used that heart stamp that's included, that beautiful, and then I added some glitter glue on there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope if you have this set, you will be inspired to pull it out and play with it. It's a good one, and thanks so much for watching. I hope that you will hit the subscribe button as well as the like and share with your friends. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.